All right, let's see what you would choose in a case of WWYD.
Oh.
You've been married for 20 years.
Let's see what you would do in a case of what would you do? Is that what you said? Okay. Interesting.
Shut up.
Interesting way to preface it. All
All right, here we go. This is it. You've been married for 20 years.
Oh, this one.
You and your spouse have had a wonderful marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Literally nothing is wrong, and you both bring out the best in each other.
Oh,
sweet. You come home and you see 2 letters on the table. One says, stay happy. The second letter says, learn the truth. Which one would you open?
this question is so dumb. Okay.
Okay.
I'm absolutely reading the learn the truth one.
Okay.
Yeah. Because here's why this is why I don't the question's good. I don't like her. I don't like her, and this is why. The only reason you did this is because you have a guilty conscience that boiled over.
Mm-hmm.
So now, instead of just being like, all right, I gotta tell you this thing. It's fucked up. First of all, she wrote it down, and then she tried to give the choice. Like, I mean, I gave you the choice to stay happy. So I feel like just that gesture was enough to get it off her mind. So if someone was like, I want to stay happy, I feel like that would be enough for her to be like, all right, cool, I did what I needed to do. So she's trying to like offset the guilt into something else. Just offering that choice is already a lot. Because now you're just like, if you choose the stay happy one, you're going to know that some wild shit happened.
Some shit is going to be brewing.
Something else happened where it was the opposite of me staying happy. So it wasn't like an amazing announcement. It's like either you know this or stay happy.
So I just want to add or ask, do y'all have kids?
Oh, that doesn't matter.
Because some people think about like paternity tests, and sometimes the guy's like, I don't even want to see it. Like they'll be on the fence, and then they'll be like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. When they find out like their partner cheated or something, they'll be like, I don't necessarily know if I want to know if my kid is mine or not. I've been around for 16 years and under the guise that this is my child. And now, he's about to turn 17 and I find out, my partner cheated.
Yeah, because that sucks for him because he didn't.
So would he choose? The
kid had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, would he choose learn the truth or stay happy? I don't know. This is a great question to me because it's like, clearly it's a truth that I can live without. So do I want to know and risk?
But the nigga sat down and wrote a letter. I'm assuming though the stay happy just is blank. I'm assuming there's nothing written in that.
Nothing. I love you.
Right. But I just think that they already did. They already hit some type of ceiling and sat down and did all this. Like they already in their head, they told you because they wrote it down. But I don't know.
But the risk that you take of not choosing the truth is everything has been great up until this point. What may potentially happen in the future that made you say, I might need to tell you this right now? Because who's to say they're going to stay happy through this scandal or whatever this truth is?
Oh, you're saying that even if you choose stay happy, something is going to blow up.
Right. Who's to say that they didn't get to a point where they're like, oh, shit, somebody pregnant. And now, we happy now. Right. But
unless
near
it was
future,
unless it
something.
was a confession of something that in the past that already happened.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I was thinking more of, like the guilt. But you're right. It's more than likely if somebody did that. Well, I don't know, because if something was about to happen, I don't know if stay happy would really be a option. You know, so I'm almost thinking it's like
Mm-hmm.
those deathbed confessions we were reading, where it's like, you know, my grandpa told me he killed 4 people back in the day. That kind of thing. We were just like, well, I think there are like some lies, like family secrets,
Mm-hmm.
that it's like your life wouldn't really change
Right.
if you found out that your grandpa was a murderer, or your grandma was in the KKK or something. Like it would change how you see them. But if it's like you said, I could go the rest of my life without knowing that.
I don't think it has to do with anybody else, though. I think it would be a secret, kind of like what Kanye just told, some shit like
Right.
that.
That's what
You
I'm
know,
saying.
that
I don't
they
think this
done-
falls under you can live without knowing, you know.
Right.
This seems a little too close to home. And just how it was like cryptically set up. I don't like everything about this. You tried to make it a damn quest. Me finding out you tried to make it a game, like red pill,
Yeah.
blue. She tried to be Morpheus.
Yeah, I think that I know people that would choose to stay happy, because sometimes it's like you actually like it becomes ruined, your view of someone, depending on what it is. Like especially if there's like essay allegations or secret baby, even if the mom's like, you don't have to be a part of the life, you know.
Secret baby.
If there's just, you know, you unalived somebody, or you know, you got away with something that is horrifying.
Right.
I think that once you find those things out, it's like,
It's done. You already your mind already changed.
because some people find out the truth and stay, you know.
Right.
So
But it has to be
like,
a truth you're okay with, you know.
Right.
If it's a truth that you're okay with, then it's just like, oh, okay, thank you for telling me that, but I don't feel differently. But if it's something like that so horrifying that it shatters your image of the person, I'm okay with that, because you're only really upset about losing people that you like,
right.
you know. But if something happens where you're just like, holy shit, I like some completely alternate universe version of you, then that's it. I mean, I'm not really afraid to start over after 20 years. You know, like that's not yeah, I would definitely.
What if you find out like y'all was he
Brother and sister?
No. Ooh, God, that's happened before to people, right?
I'm sure.
What if you find out, like, say you allowed your partner to like take care of like all the marriage certificate stuff, and you find out like
We're not married.
we're not really married because they're still married to somebody else, or they got married to somebody else on some like secret,
During the 20 years?
Yeah, like what if they married they sneaky link, but was still like, hey, we still kind of got to keep this a secret, but
Yeah, that's crazy.
you know, this is what she wanted to stay around, but your wife ain't. Ooh, which, oh my God,
I would want to know all that. Yeah, it would be shocking either way, and I don't think reading reading it in a letter is any different than it just coming out, you know, or like you finding out about the secret husband or all that stuff. It's all the same shock with different.
I wonder if I want
different
to know
formats.
because I'm nosy. Because staying happy is just, happiness is nice. Happiness is nice.
But you also know you chose
but
to stay happy.
oblivious, like that's
Oblivious is better. You're not oblivious anymore, though.
right.
You know, it's kind of like the Matrix thing. If you were pulled out of life, you were looking around, you saw all these fucking robot creatures. You see a nigga with glasses and nothing's connected to their ear, and they're just like, this is what it really is. Go back with this one, or I'll tell you everything. You kind of know the truth, you just don't know the details. So if you pick to go back, now you're walking around and you're like, oh shit, all this is fake. I chose to go back. I don't know what it is, but
Right.
I know that there's something there. It's gonna eat at you.
He done caught something from somebody.
That's crazy.
Kept it from you. The good thing is he kept it from you, so he knows how to keep it at bay.
It's not something that you needed to know. 'Cause to stay happy wouldn't have been an option if that was one of them.
Yeah, because once the opportunity presents itself, then the option to stay happy literally probably doesn't even exist anymore.
What if
Even if you chose it, it's like,
what if the know the truth was a photo of a nigga, and then you turned it around and it said their birthday? From my perspective, not yours.
I'm like, nigga has a birthday.
No, I'm just
So
saying.
yours was like
This is
constructed,
this is
doctor
how I was-
constructed pussy.
This is how I was born. Just full mustache.
Been getting that bussy.
I'm
Oh, you
getting
saw the 12-year-old picture of him?
the 1-day-old. They got a
Peach fuzz.
They got a handlebar mustache.
So if you found out your wife was a man
Mm-hmm.
and early in the life,
You
was
been
biologically male,
Mm-hmm.
what would you do
You been getting some
after 20 years?
vajic.
You leave.
Getting some of that vajic.
Ooh, you leaving?
That's crazy. Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. But that sucks because it's like that's 20 years.
That's 20 years.
That which is crazy. But I mean
You
that
like,
is
that's why you couldn't get pregnant. Oh,
that's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, I think I would. But I mean, aren't there like laws that say you have to say something like that, or is that just like a more morality thing?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the laws are about disclosure for something like that.
Like,
I
that's
know
why
you have
be
to disclose.
growing chin hair so fast.
You can stay at the laser.
What about you? What if you saw she was bad though, but you saw that she was, you were getting the vajic.
Wait, so I'm married to a guy that used to be a woman.
Mm-hmm. Besties. Y'all was sharing fashion advice, all type of stuff.
Uh,
It's the hard hitting questions.
I'm staying. I'm probably gonna stay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If they was able to dupe me like that and I fell in love and we got married and we've been happy for 20 years, then it says to me like, okay.
I feel like it's easier for women to bend in that direction because it's just like, hey, I mean, you was giving me some good vegan meat.
Mm-hmm. Vegan meat is crazy.
I think it's a little bit more psychological from the male
more difficult
perspective.
for a male to bend in that direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that would be quite the reveal. To me, that's all. That to me is almost as crazy as the baby not being yours. The baby not being yours is crazy because it involves somebody else, but I think it's still the same. The same type of reveal, because it comes down to masculinity. Like kid's not yours. I am a man. It's kind of in the same ballpark.
You know who Nephew Tommy is, right? That was a part of the Steve Harvey show, morning show. Nephew Tommy, he did a prank on a guy. His wife set him up to do this prank and was like, I forget the name of him, but he called a guy and was like, oh, is your wife named such and such? And he's like, yeah, that's my wife. What you want? Tina. It was Tina. He was like, yeah, Tina's my wife. We've been married for such and such amount of time. And he's like, well, we found Tina through such and such, and we found out that used to be my brother Tim. And he's like, you trying to tell me my wife Tina is your long lost brother Tim? And He's
That's
like, yeah.
crazy.
He's like, well, if this is true, you gonna have a dead brother on your hands. He's like, you better not do nothing to my brother.
Damn, my brother.
But it was a prank, you know. But he was like, so you mean to tell me I've been married to a man this whole time, and my wife Tina is your brother Tim? Oh, let me find out. He's like, you must have a dead brother. I was like, oh.
That's a tough line to cross. I mean, like, niggas do kill because of stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough. That's a crazy reason to kill somebody, though. You know.
Yeah.
I mean,
But it's good. Yeah, because it's like, how does that really happen? Like, I mean, I guess if the surgery went well, I guess that would be something that would be kind of easy to pull over somebody, because I mean, we got to a point where you can actually like identify as the opposite sex without biologically being that. So
I mean, it's definitely a dangerous
legally,
game. I have no qualms or issues with the trans community, but I mean, even they know, like, that's a very interesting new game that's being played too. Because before, like, if you were a gay dude, yeah, there are dudes that will beat you up or even kill you for
just for that.
just for being gay or coming on to them and stuff like that. But now the veil of being a woman, and
you can take the hormones, you can get the surgery, you can identify as that.
Yeah.
From, well, before this administration, like on legal documents and stuff like that. So it's kind of like, shit, unless you looking at, you know, birth certificates or whatnot, you know, it's with that paired with surgery. I mean, but then the question comes, would somebody really care? If you can identify on paper, you're taking the hormones, you get the surgery to flip it in and up, and you've been enjoying these holes.
These holes.
You've been enjoying these holes this whole time, and then, you know, the reveal you accidentally find, you know, in the envelope, learn the truth is a birth certificate, you know.
I mean, honestly, it would be nice to say that all that stuff makes it not matter, you know?
Right.
Like, if you're all that stuff, then it's like, okay, well, you kind of are a woman now, you know? That would be the
reproductive organs.
I know, I'm just saying it would be nice if that, and honestly, that's something that the human race has to figure out next, because I think that a lot of times I guess the older image of a man becoming a woman, it left out all that stuff you just said. Like, it was like, man, they really look like a woman, but they have a full penis, you know? So, you know, I think that's just something that I guess humans, specifically human men, are going to have to figure out if all that changes, are they? But I think that, you know, at least now, it's still like but you were born. It's kind of like a yes, but you were, and just like, in the back of a man's head is just gonna be like, am I gay for this? You know, am I gay? And then it goes also to like, how does that affect with children? If you do all this stuff, you know, is like how does that even work?
Well, it depends on, I guess, what kind of relationship it is. I mean, you would, if it was male with trans female, then it would, unless they have a child from a previous relationship, it would just be adoption, and then you just figure out, you know, or you get some carrier, you know. I don't know how that works. But
I wonder if, like,
you about to say something idiotic.
No. I think this is.
I feel like you were about to go into. Go ahead.
I wonder if in the trans community there are any men who became women and women who became men that like each other.
I don't think so.
Like, is that a thing, or is that something that's avoided? Like,
you know what? It may happen. I don't think it's a norm, but I think it's probably happened. So then it's just
So what does that say?
Does that make it a heterosexual relationship? If a
Yeah,
because
in
coming
both
down
ways,
to
yeah.
it, yeah.
But then it's just like, if that isn't a thing, do they not like trans people? Like, you know what I
No.
mean? That's a very interesting question. I would love to know if we have any people in the trans community that know this. We're just asking questions. Is that even a thing? Does it have a nickname? Because if it's a thing, it definitely has a nickname.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the
Which
LGBT community are expert at nicknames.
They're very good at it.
Every scenario has a quip and a name about it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Let us know, because we for sure don't know. I don't know anything about that. So,
All right.
and it gets confusing to me.
I'm going to switch gears and talk about dolphins, if I may. You ready for these dolphin facts?
I'm ready for the dolphin facts.
Shout out to Sosa. It's a funny joke. Dolphins can identify humans by checking their skeleton structure through their sonar.
What?
They often help shipwreck victims fight sharks and stay afloat because, as mammals, they understand the concept of drowning.
Dolphins are pretty smart.
So they can literally see us because of our skeleton.
Oh.
Which is insane. And I never thought of, like, imagine being in a shipwreck and, like, a bunch of dolphins keep you afloat and fight away sharks.
That's fire.
That's a crazy story.
And then they try to smash you afterwards. Like,
that means
here's the price of my protection.
Nobody's perfect. Okay. There's a lot of flaws in the animal community.
That's crazy. What a good fact. I mean, that's a really nice thing about dolphins. Have some pretty dope, like, facts about them outside of the one.
essay.
Yeah, the essay. I feel
Dolphins
like
are dope. Then
yeah,
that might be like a fun. We were just talking about it last week on animals you come back as. I feel like being a dolphin would be pretty fun.
Dolphins definitely look like they have a blast. Like, whenever I go whale watching, because I go whale watching yearly, whenever we go, whatchamacallit, we see more dolphins than anything.
Yeah.
And sometimes we'll see, like, these big.
Because they'd be fun.
What is it? It's not a herd. What is it called?
Pod.
Pod. That's what's called for dolphins. Well, we see a whole bunch of them, and it's like, this is beautiful. Like, even if I don't see a whale, I'm satisfied with seeing all the dolphins that, like, chase the boat and stuff.
Yeah,
it's
dolphins are more fun to
cool.
watch. Whales don't do nothing but show their tail and blow.
You ready for my fact?
Yep.
A Florida man used a cell phone jammer every day while traveling to work because he didn't want drivers around him distracted by their phones. As a result, he was fined $48,000 by the FCC.
So everywhere he drove, his people's phone wouldn't work.
Right.
I would think that would cause more accidents because they'd be like, "Yo, what's going on? Hey, boom!" You know.
But how do you even, like, catch that?
Yeah, that's crazy. Somebody must have brought in their phone and they traced it backwards.
Or it said every day to work. So maybe he took the same route every day and they were able to, like, kind of follow the signal or the well, there is no signal because he jammed all the signal.
If you could jam a signal, that jam has to come from a signal, right? If it's like, you know, remote or wirelessly connecting to these things, you could probably connect it backwards.
That, or they just figured out who's taking the same route every morning.
That's a dangerous game with all these electric cars. Fuck around and jam a Tesla.
Right. Well, it says, Jason, a 60-year-old man from Sefner, Florida, used a cell phone jammer during his daily commute along Interstate 4 between Sefner and Tampa for approximately 16 to 24 months. His intention was to prevent other drivers from using their phones while driving. However, his actions led to significant interference with cellular networks and disrupted police communications. As a result, the Federal Communications Commission, FCC, fined him $48,000 for violating federal laws against the use of signal jammers. The interface was first noticed by Metro PCS, which reported the issues with its towers along the affected stretch of the highway. FCC agents used sophisticated detection techniques to trace the source of the disruption to Humphrey's vehicle. Upon stopping him, deputies observed that their radios lost contact with dispatch and they approached his SUV. A subsequent search revealed the jammer concealed behind the passenger seat cover. While Humphreys believed he was promoting road safety by discouraging phone use, his actions inadvertently compromised public safety. The use of signal jammers is illegal in the United States due to potential risks they pose, including interference with emergency communications.
He was trying to be like a villain with a cause.
Right.
Saying that he was trying to help people.
Right. You are not helping me by if my map stops working and I'm on my way somewhere.
Would it get with GPS? Would it mess
I
that
would
up?
think so.
I mean, he just had
unless you have like offline maps.
He just had it going then. I thought in my head he had like a little thing that he was, but it was still going off when the police pulled him over. Like,
right. He was probably trying to turn it back on. Like
I never thought about it. The police messing with them. That's a big deal.
Metro PCS.
Right. Yeah, that nigga was stupid. All right, you got a juicy thread for us?
People who believe in ghosts. Why? And have you seen one? It happened to me when I was visiting friends in another state. They took me to see their friend's bar/gaming hall, a place for food, drinks, and board games, etc., not gambling. The building was at least 100 years old. The owner took us to see that he had renovated a back room so he could expand the business. It was a large room with fresh paint, wallpaper, and carpet. We all stood just inside the door of this room talking. A young man, no older than 25, came in behind me dressed in a mime outfit. It made me think of the 1970s. I thought he worked for the bar/gaming hall. My back was actually close to the wall, so when the young man tried to squeeze behind me, I thought he was trying to avoid interrupting our conversation. I stepped forward, looking back over my shoulder, and I said, "Oh, excuse me." My friend looked at me and said, "What?" There was no one behind me. I did not tell anyone about it until I told the entire
The mime?
Mm-hmm.
That's scary.
That's
we haven't seen that in a horror movie.
Mm-mm.
I've never seen like
oh, excuse me.
No, a mime.
No.
There's a couple of like jobs that whenever they appear in like a ghostly type of story is always scary.
I saw The Flash has an episode of the guy who's a contortionist. Ooh. The black guy who's a contortionist. Yeah. I believe he's dressed as, is he dressed as a mime? He might be dressed as a mime, a contortionist mime.
That's creepy.
Is mime monster. Ooh, that would be a really good one because there's no dialogue outside of the people who are screaming for their lives.
It's kind of like the Terrifier.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't talk
at all.
And he does hella mime shit.
Right.
Well, he does. It's kind of clown shit. It's kind of the same thing. It's like mime is like a sophisticated clown.
Yeah. They're just he's dressed like a regular clown
with mime colors.
With mime with a mime personality, mime behaviors. Mm-hmm. Because I don't know, does he do tricks and stuff? Or does
that's what I'm saying. He does clown stuff too. So he'll be like and then honk honk and then kill you. But mimes kind of do that too, but I guess they just do like performance art.
Mm-hmm. They're in the mirror.
A mime could put you in a box and then crush the box. Actually pull you closer to him.
I bet you when we go Google this,
There's going to be a movie. As I started doing it, I was like, yeah, somebody did this already.
Somebody had to. Soon after my son Jack passed away at 33 from deep vein thrombosis, I was driving home on a very cold day from a town about 50 miles away. Of course, I was thinking about him. He died in Arizona, and his ashes were scheduled to arrive in our hometown any day. I was wondering when he'd be home. As I drove, I was also listening to the radio. Suddenly, after a song played, the announcer literally shouted, "Hey, Jack is back." The logical reason he shouted that was because we were expecting a very cold week of weather and he was talking about Jack Frost. But I sure took it differently that day. Within about 10 minutes, my cell phone rang and it was the funeral home. Jack was, in fact, back.
Not really a ghost story.
It's not, but she's making it seem like it was just
She made it seem like that's
coincidental.
why she believes in ghosts, and that's she saw Jack.
Right. Not sure if it's the traditional ghost story, but well. I was sitting in the car next to my husband. We're driving on the highway. Suddenly, I feel like somebody slams me and back into my seat, and I know with every fiber of my being we were going to crash because my husband was having a heart attack. Whoa. Except he didn't, and we didn't crash. The car, 6 cars in front of us did, though. We later heard on the news what I already knew. The man in the car had a heart attack and lost control of the car, slamming into a tree next to the road. Both the man and his wife in the passenger seat died on impact. I'm still convinced the woman's soul ghost slammed into me and made me feel her terror as she was dying. 1 out of 10 experience. Never want to do that again.
Oh, so she not only felt the sensation of being pushed, she felt like she was going to crash for no reason and that her husband was having a heart attack.
She was basically, it almost seemed like she was the ghost in the car that crashed.
She felt everything that she felt.
Yeah. So basically she experienced it all. She thought her husband was having a heart attack and they were crashing. So it's almost like she was in the car with them.
Yeah.
Versus they're in the car with her.
That's scary.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, I never even thought about like a ghost giving you their experiences. But I guess that happens to people who are sensitive, like mediums and stuff. You know, like the movies where the medium is like, you just got goosebumps.
I did.
You know, the movies where the medium comes in and they like start crying or they start feeling what happened there. That's what that reminds me of.
It's like him. He's right there. Yeah.
He's so sad.
Right. He's not at peace. Like, I don't see anything. I don't feel anything. At first I was thinking, it's so bad. At first I was thinking, like, the impact, when she said it was 6 cars up, like, the ghost, like, flew through all the cars and hit her. Like,
what if everybody in those 5 cars in between them felt that?
Yeah, the exact same thing. Like, so it's not as crazy as I thought.
And she said she found out what she already knew when she heard the news. So she kind of already...
That she experienced it.
Yeah.
That's... Yeah. I don't know how I feel about ghosts. I've seen and experienced some shit, but I also think that maybe our perception of time/reality glitches out. Some random stuff I've experienced. Hearing the click-clack of my mom's heels hit the stone floor. Hearing the purse get put down only to go upstairs and realize no one is there. Quickly checked to see if it was the dog or cat, but both of them were sitting in the basement with me. This happened on and off for a month or so. At the same house, I'd often turn off the TV, normally on channel 25, YTV, and I'd come back to it on, change to the NASCAR channel, some 50 stations up. Again, no one home, or anytime I left on DVDs, I'd come back and it'd be on some obscure subsection of the special features I would have never found personally.
DVDs do that sometimes. I've fallen asleep to a DVD and it went straight to like the extras.
Shrek.
Yeah.
Pick me.
Oh my God. Shrek, The Mummy, and Bruce Almighty, and Family Guy were the DVDs I always fell asleep to. So it was like, it always defaulted to some weird menu thing.
That's the one. Yeah. Have you ever fallen asleep with the TV loud and in the TV someone rings the doorbell?
Mm-mm.
It is the worst experience ever.
Well,
I've had that. Yes. And like it was a Alfred Hitchcock movie, and the doorbell sounded exactly like my doorbell. And I woke up, it was like 3-4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, what the fuck? You know, and I guess in this movie, I don't know which movie it was, there's multiple door rings, and so if you wake up and fall back asleep, you know, the shit, it'll do it again, so it makes you think.
Remember which movie?
No. I know it was black and white though. That's all. That's all I could tell you. That's all I could tell you. I don't know which movie it was, but I ended up rewinding it to see like, oh shit, it was this. But ultimately, I woke up to thinking somebody was at my door. I opened the door. No one's there, even though you're not supposed to open the door if you don't see anybody through the peephole. You know, so I'm checking front door. I'm checking back door. You know, I get my pew pew. You know, I'm holding it. I'm scared. And then, ding dong, the fucking movie.
Was this
same
when
thing.
you were at a house or apartment?
House.
Oh, so you never went up to the door?
I checked the front and the back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And there was nobody there. And I was just like, I know I heard my doorbell, but the TV was on hella loud. And then as I was up, I heard it again. And I was like,
oh, that's
but
just the show.
yeah. But I mean, that was just scary to think. Like, I thought, oh shit, like this is my experience with a damn ghost or something. I'd have let something in, you know?
That was Hitchcock.
Good old cock of Hitch.
I forget what grade I was in, but there was a time I fell asleep to Nick at Night, I think. And something turned the TV off completely. And then I had a big Battleship, you know, the game Battleship. They had a big one that when it turned electronic. So it was like, the box was like this big.
Damn.
And something threw that shit across the room. So I heard the TV turn off. So I was like, I wasn't awake, but I heard that something happened. So I was kind of like awake. And then I heard the, so I really woke up and I turned the light on and I was like, oh.
You got a little poltergeist.
I was terrified. I put a cross on the doorbell.
So you didn't have a dog at the time, or was your dog? Could your dog be responsible for this atrocity?
It was on a shelf, and it was it was
Oh.
across the room with everything spilled out. Damn. So I put a cross on that doorknob, and I didn't go in that room again for like months. It felt weird every time I was in there. I was like, man, this is freaky. That was like my first big ghost experience.
That's horrible. That's a big item for.
That's what I was saying. It's huge.
So that might have
And
been
would
malevolent.
Toys would jump off my toy shelf, and I would do little tests and like shake it and knock them off to see how far they went. And when they was jumping off, they was halfway across the room. So I did all these tests, and I was like, "There's no way it just fell off."
You ever played with a Ouija board?
Nope, not till I was an adult.
Not to you as an adult. You.
Well, Def did. Comedians try a Ouija board for the first time, so I had to buy it.
What?
Yeah, it's good. It's a good episode.
Plug it. So did you have any experiences after you opened the portal?
I had most of my experience actually before that happened. And the Ouija board I bought was from Toys R Us. It wasn't like a...
I don't think that matters, does it?
I do.
You think so?
To me, I think that for something to be like connecting to the occult and stuff, to me, it's like the ones where you just buy it from like a interesting looking shop that sells all these weird items, and then you go back the next day and the shop doesn't exist. Like, that's the kind of shit. But this was like fucking Hasbro.
I feel like, I don't know. I feel like shapes and symbols and instructions on, you know, calling to the other side. I feel like doing all that stuff
You don't
it
think the
doesn't
vehicle
matter.
has to be somewhat magic, or because I mean, it didn't have any Baphomets on it. It didn't have any satanic imagery. It was just like almost like Hasbro made it. It was just like a straight up kid's toy.
It's like how we had like play kitchens and stuff. Like,
Yeah, play toolboxes and stuff. It seemed like the play version of it, which was the only reason I got it.
I don't even understand that though. Like, why would that even exist? Like, why would
We did Ouija board for the first time and seance for the first time.
What the?
We for the first time covered a lot of ground.
And you did both. You were involved in both of those.
It was the same day. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. Moo, Slink, rest in peace, Teddy, and I forget who the fourth person was.
Can I just ask one? You guys should go watch this because I definitely am going to go watch this episode.
Oh, and watch Dungeons and Dragons too. Damn, we did a lot of episodes. We did Dungeons and Dragons, Seance, and Ouija board.
Okay. Can I just ask, with the seance or the Ouija board, did anything happen to anyone that used it? Did anybody get an experience?
You're just gonna have to watch.
You can't give us no teaser.
Ooh, okay, 1.1 million experience. Black people experience a seance for the first time.
My God, to hear the cast that you just said is crazy. I could see Slink being a.
Okay, so seance is Moo, Teddy, and Kamira.
Okay.
Let me see. I think it was the same day. I wonder if it was the same people. Ouija board for the first time. Black people use a Ouija board for the first time. Okay, that's the same. That was the same day. Okay, so seance and Ouija board.
That one got a million views too.
This one got 2.3.
Damn! People want to see black people trying stuff. Black people try ... It's damn near guaranteed to go viral.
Yeah, that was the whole point for the first time. Insert race, insert something that was tried, and then it got to the point where we were doing black people go hiking for the first time.
Oh no!
That's when I was like, all right, this
Don't
is
do
over.
us like that.
This is we can't do this anymore. Yeah, that was me buying a Ouija board, and nothing crazy. Like, there were some things that was just like, oh shit, but for the most part, it was pretty.
Okay, well, if there's some oh shit moments,
it was subtle enough because we knew that the clicks wasn't worth opening a portal, so we didn't do like. We didn't go to the same, but we didn't go to the same lengths that you would think we went. You know.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't touch that thing. I think, where was I at? There was a Ouija board in a shop, and I didn't even want to go close to it.
See, you said the word shop. I wouldn't go either. In a little low key shop.
See
I
that?
did that. I did that.
Oh.
But Toys R Us seems fine. There was like a family on the front. Like, what the fuck kind of family game
family?
is this?
Oh my God. I don't even know. Like,
yeah, I was scared though, because I watched this kind of stuff, you know that. So the seance had a host that was a medium. Like, we brought in this white lady, and I think I talked to her. I was like, we don't really want to mess with this.
We don't really want to open no portals.
Give us the basics. So don't expect to watch it if you do. All the candles blowing out.
Right.
Somebody's chair lifting.
Flying backwards.
Ain't nobody lifting those people.
Ain't nobody.
Some big niggas at that table. I wonder if ghosts can struggle with certain heavy things. You
know, I don't think so.
Because that implies muscles. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think so.
All right.
But I also don't think. I mean, yeah, they do be moving heavy shit. They be moving like armoires and shit. Like, they be moving.
What's the heaviest thing you've seen? Ghost. I mean, obviously.
The heaviest.
Depiction. Yeah, in a movie or.
I would say
even a story.
A couch. I think we've seen them move couches. We've seen them move beds. Definitely armoire
crazy.
closet.
They just be like. They don't
that's
ever,
the
like,
closets, right?
They don't ever like lift the bed or the couch all the way. Like, that's never one of the things floating around. They just be like,
Have we ever seen a bed lifted? I'm sure we've seen a bed lifted.
I see them like scooted around or like sometimes they'll like shove something, but it never leaves the ground. I've just never seen like they never like pick up a fridge or like a car.
I wonder if whatchamacallit,
what if it has to match the strength when you were alive?
Conjuring. Doesn't The Conjuring have? I don't know. We're also watching we watched some indie horror films that are really good, but I can't pinpoint, but I feel like in one recent one we've seen them like picking up like pretty heavy objects and throwing them.
You might be talking about the haunting of that
Yes.
one where they were throwing marbles. I've never. That's crazy that we say this. I've never seen a poltergeist movie where they picked up something crazy heavy. So I wonder, that would be crazy if, like, however much you worked out, like, however strong you were when you were alive is how strong you are. So if you were a weak nigga, you're going to be a weak ghost.
So you just
Those are the niggas that turn on the faucet.
Oh, turn on the faucet, just
Turn the
pull the
lights
cover
off.
down.
Turn the lights off, all that.
And then some that just sit. That's why it's always old people that's just sitting in the rocking chair.
That's what I'm saying. I think it, or it's like the strength you had when you died. You just stuck being old and weak for eternity and mad. That's crazy.
Man, that's horrible.
Can you be an athletic ghost? Like if I'm just saying,
Jesus
like
Christ.
like if it was like Kobe's ghost or something, you know, he'd probably be the most in shape
Cooking.
ghost of all time.
Man, that would be
Lifting all
dope if
type
we
of
could
stuff.
interact with we could like play sports with ghosts and stuff.
I wonder
Like
why
Jackie Robinson. play
people don't
baseball.
use seances to like talk to dead celebrities enough. Like, what if you could like use a Ouija board to contact Kobe or who else is dead?
I don't know. I
Ray
like
Charles.
We went out of the athletes. I was about to say I was out
Oh
of the
yes,
athlete.
anybody.
Prince.
You could talk to Prince. You could talk
Prince.
to MJ.
Whitney Houston.
Talk to bunch of dead people.
There's a lot.
All the deads. You never seen a ghost?
You know, I think I don't know if I've told this story before, but I think maybe, but it could have also been fog. I don't know.
Okay.
We were driving. It was nighttime, and I don't even think it was. It may have been, I don't know, somewhere between 10 and 1 a.m. I don't know what time it was. It was a really long time ago, and we were driving down the street, and it looked like a woman in, of course, white, because they're always white, a white gown. It looked like we drove through her.
That happened to you? That's happened in so many movies.
And I looked at him because he was driving, and I looked at him and I was like, "Did you see that?" And he was like, "That woman?" And I was like, "It did look like a woman."
He didn't even
huh?"
try to swerve out the way. He just went through.
No, we went straight through it because it was like it appeared as fog appears. You know, you can drive through fog very easily.
Who
You know
did
how-
she go through? You or him?
I don't know. I feel like she was in the middle.
Perfectly centered.
Yeah. And I saw it and I was like,
She jumped in your back seat.
but when he saw the same thing, I was like, are we just seeing a shape? You know how we put like
He just said that
animals
woman. You
select
didn't
cloud.
say. You didn't say. Did you see that woman? You said. Did you see
I
that?
said,
And
did
he
you
said,
see that?
And he said the woman.
Uh-huh.
Come on.
But it's not like she had skin. It's not like, she wasn't.
So why did he say
It wasn't it wasn't a person. It was like it was a silhouette. I
Why
guess
do you think
a
woman
fogged
and not man?
silhouette because
Why
it
do
was a gown. Yeah, I don't know. It was like
You
a
saw clothes.
gown.
You saw actual clothes.
It looked like a woman in white. The way the silhouette looked, it was like a woman in a white gown. That's what it looked like.
you
But it's
saw
not
white
like,
clothes.
but I didn't see skin.
Right.
Everything was white. So it was like, it looked like a woman in a white gown.
I mean, if
and he saw it too.
If he said woman and you didn't prompt
He
that,
did.
That's and you thought woman before he said that, then that's really creepy.
And then we both looked at each other because we drove through it.
This is a street or highway?
A street.
I wonder what happened on that street.
I used to walk that street all the time when I was a kid.
real?
Yeah. So
That's creepy.
yeah, it was pretty creepy. But I've always just chalked it up to being
Nothing
because I
else
never
happened
saw
that night?
anything like that.
So nothing like followed y'all?
No.
That's really scary. Ghosts love white. I wonder if ghosts have like a fashion sense.
But it was like it was almost like they probably didn't have on white. It was just a reflection of our headlights, probably. It was like a woman in white, but it was like fog. So the way it silhouetted, I'm thinking it was a reflection from our headlights because we didn't really see it until we got close. So it was like it was shaped like a woman, but I wonder if the lights weren't on it, what it would have looked like if the headlights weren't on it.
It was a thing that you did not crash into.
We did not crash into it. It went through.
So regardless of the details, you kind of like pull back from it being a ghost. You still went through it, right?
I am the skeptic though, and that's my brain, trying to piece together what I saw, because I'm a skeptic.
Skeptics can see something and say they didn't see it, which is crazy. I feel like that's my ceiling. Once I see it, it's like, okay, I'm fully on everybody else's side. Because
there has to be an explanation.
No, there doesn't.
That's the thing. Like, how is there not an explanation for some of these things?
We can't explain it because we don't know enough. It's kind of like when you see a UFO. The explanation is something we can say what we think it is, but
I just don't understand why it would be shown to us. I'm not going to go and try to find nothing out.
It could have been asking for something. It could have been, because there's like all those urban myths of like a woman that's like, flagging down cars and just being like, help, please, my baby, help me. I was just in a car accident. And then they'll lead them. You ever heard of this story? They'll lead them to the car accident. And then like when they look inside, it's the girl who was talking to and they're dead. And they save a baby or something.
Oh, no.
Yeah, there's like a bunch
so
of
I wonder
creepy...
if I missed the mark. If we missed the mark, we're supposed to like, help.
Damn. No, I don't stop to help people.
If he would have swerved, that might have done enough for me to be like.
No, he said he saw it.
He said what
it was. And it's actually a better story because you went through it. If you swerved around it, it could have been a human. You would have more excuses in your head. True. But going through it and being like, hey, we just went through a woman. Unless you guys covered a murder up.
No.
And killed somebody. No, and just be like, yeah, not. He just went through us. I didn't hear nothing. Then I don't know.
Nigga got a cracked windshield after that.
I don't know. I think that stuff like ghosts, it's like if they don't show themselves to so many people that most people say they don't exist, then it's like when you see a ghost, you either lucky or sensitive, tapped into the spiritual realm. So when you get that once in a lifetime experience, it's crazy to be like, I gotta see it again.
You know what I wouldn't mind testing? I saw a video where this guy drove, I think it was a Tesla. He drove to a graveyard.
I saw that.
And it showed like
hella people
walking through, but there was nobody like out there. I wouldn't mind. I think I might be sold if I saw something like that.
But that can be a computer error. How you believe that more than your own eyes?
Because I feel like that's something that can be repeated, and that's something like I can only go back in my head and be like, oh yeah, I think
you can't
I saw
be like
that.
There's something wrong with the sensors here.
I would think if I saw that. And then if I saw that video and then I went and saw it, I tested it out myself and saw it happened on mine, I wouldn't think it was an error.
Oh, if you saw it online and then you went to
I saw it online and I'm like, okay, let me go get a Tesla for Turo, and drive it and just see, like, do I see these images walking? Okay, well, because I feel like that can be like edited.
If you saw that on an empty street, would it be as scary? Because I feel like...
Heck yeah!
Okay, so it's not just because it's at a cemetery.
Right, but I'm just saying that was the video I saw where, he saw all these people, but there was nobody there.
To me, it's like, okay, if this machine has a tracker in it that's supposed to pick up people, then I could see there being an error where it's picking up people when there's not,
Okay.
I could see that because it has a function. If it didn't have a function to even scan people and I saw that, I'd be like, oh, that's not even what this is supposed to do.
But these people were walking, weren't they?
Yeah.
So you think that, because I could see if it was still images where the error was like, oh, that kind of looks like a human. That shape, you know how you put the hat on top of the coat rack, and
It looks like
and
a
it
human.
looks like a person. But these people in the video, from my recollection, they were walking, right?
Yeah, they're walking all around.
So
but
for me, it's hard for me to be like, okay, that's an error if we're seeing them walk around. I could see if it was just a still shot, it showed that, and then I looked and I'm like, oh, that's a tree branch. But walking around, that's tough.
I don't think that's how the Tesla, like the sensors, do it. I don't think they could see like a hat and a coat rack and be like person. I don't know that's how the sensors work.
Okay, so I don't know. I just know what I saw in that video. I don't know if they can't go off of body heat, because
it is scary.
You know,
it's definitely scary. I just feel like I would have more excuses for that than
actually seeing it with your own eyes.
I forget what it's called. I don't think it's Gravity Falls. You know that hill that people put like baby powder on the back of their car, and they'll be pushed up the hill and they'll see like little kid like handprints on the back. Yeah,
No.
There's a place. It's out here. There's like a place that.
What?
Yeah, apparently like a school bus or something.
Oh.
So people will park, put it in neutral at the bottom of the hill, and their car will be pushed up. And there's urban legends saying that people will put baby powder and there's like little kid hands and stuff, and you can. I think there's this is a chilling story. There's a playground out over there where if you go at a certain time, there's you'll see
3
like a
a.m.?
kid. You'll see a kid on the swing, and if you look at her in the eyes, she'll follow you home.
Oh no!
Just stuff, creepy stuff like that. That's the kind of stuff like if that happened to me, I would be a believer, even though they say that it's one of those obstacle illusions where it looks like you're going uphill, but it's really downhill, which I still don't understand. But I feel like if stuff like that, where there's like the explanations are a little crazier, I feel like I would give myself less leeway than
my car 3,000 pounds.
Yeah, them kids ain't gonna push that shit.
Them kids gonna push my car uphill.
That'd be crazy if your car didn't move. Your car didn't move, but you still saw the handprints.
Right.
So they were just
you on your own with this one.
Yeah,
You might as well put that back in reverse and drive.
I just will say this to all the skeptics. If something is split down the middle, there's a bunch of people over here that saw something, they're trying to convince you something, and there's a bunch of other people who've never seen anything and they think it's fake. That makes sense. But for someone who says it's fake to see a ghost and not cross over and be like, hey, I was on your side, but actually these guys, I experienced the same thing. They stay on. It's like a nigga who gets bit by a zombie and doesn't tell anybody. They stay on the skeptic side and they're like, yeah, you guys are crazy, knowing that they saw something. They just that's a bad human.
It's not a bad human, and I'm not perfect, but at the same time, I'm also not quick to be like, yes, that was a ghost.
You shouldn't be quick to do it, but if you see something, you gotta give that to them at least.
Okay,
that's crazy.
Well, that's why I brought it up, because it's a potential. It's potentially.
I'm not a skeptic. I'll watch a Hollow Earth documentary today. All right, you guys. Well, let us know if you've ever seen a ghost. I'm sure we've asked this before, but so tell us your ghost experience, and tell us if you are a skeptic who has ever seen something that was like, all right, they might be onto something.
If you're like me.
Jesus. All right. We will see you guys next week. I've been Patrick Cloud.
And I'm Persephone.
Bye, guys.
Bye.